Christy, my wife, came to me about 10 years ago with an idea to start a goat dairy. And really it's because Christy and I have always taken risks. So we've never been afraid to kind of stick our necks out there and do things. So when we saw this opportunity, we talk a lot of times at night, we'll be sitting there going, we do not want to be sitting on the porch someday going, I wish I would have done this. So that's one of the drivers personally for us. And we saw this as an opportunity for a business where Christy could leave her job at Eli Lilly. I could transition from my own business and do both. So it was a perfect fit for us to do the farm. And at that time we had 2 goats and 2 llamas, and we started looking at properties and looking around at opportunities. Christy did a lot of research, went to different dairies and farms, and we landed upon this acreage about 8 years ago, and we bought basically soybean stubble. And we spent 2 years planning on what to build here. So we talked to barn people, we talked to, this is where we got into the resources with Purdue Extension, the NRCS, the Soil and Water Conservation District, the Board of Animal Health, all of these resources. We started pooling all this information, and we basically had a blank canvas. Christy, with the Board of Animal Health Dairy Division, designed the dairy and had it on graph paper, and they came out every 3 to 6 months and helped us develop the dairy. We had this blank canvas of pastures. Robert Zupanzik, our our NRCS grazing specialist for our district, came up with a plan, taught us about how to plant grasses. We had no idea how to plant grasses. We were not farmers at the time. And taught us about germination rates and all this science that was involved in building pastures. So we came up with this great pasture plan that now feeds our animals 9 months out of the year. The hay field in the distance gives us enough hay that we don't have to purchase hay. And all of this is pretty much self-sustaining. Our farm is constantly in growth. In that respect is we look at things long-term. Everything has to last a long time. We very rarely build anything that's short-term. So our pastures, our hay fields, we made sure we plant clover. We frost seed clover to make sure we're fixing the nitrogen so that we have solid pastures year after year after year. What little fertilizing we do, we use a fish emulsion that will give us a very little bit of food for our soil and our green grasses. Our barns, we designed our barns ourselves. When we go inside the barns and see the barns, the paddocks and the areas that you see, we designed all of that so that it was functional for us. Some of it was temporary so that we could move it until we found out what we wanted, and then we made it work. And we always tell people what works here, works here. And it might not work 5 miles from here on another farm, but it works for Christy and Jess and I. And we tell people, if you go out and you start a farm, make it work for you, because this works well for us. There are some things we're changing to make it work better, but that's the most important thing, is that people make these farms work for them. There's no one size fits all, not at all. In Indiana, we're now one of 4 goat dairies making goat cheese. The market could sustain 20 to 25 farms similar to ours. So we cannot make enough goat cheese by the end of the year to keep up with the demand. So we saw that as a niche business that nobody was filling, and we love goats. We have the capability of doing this. It was a perfect fit for us.